Gaffer, we're previewing Sutton United on Wednesday. Let's first reflect on a great afternoon on Saturday against the Oval. How do you look back on it?
With pride and with joy. I thought the team were brilliant. I thought the fans were exceptional. The atmosphere was great. And it was a well-deserved 3 points. We should have got, 3 points the previous game after being 2-1 up at Solihull, creating as many chances as we did. And at 70-odd minutes, when it's 0-0, missing chance after chance, you're just thinking, is it going to be one of those days? But the substitutes made a great impact once again, which we're delighted about. And it was a real entertaining, enjoyable afternoon.
That connection with the supporters after the game really made for an excellent atmosphere. How much do you want to replicate that across the season? Every
home game, and the away fans, when they went to Solihull, they were brilliant. Behind the goal, behind me, everywhere in the stadium, just get behind the team because you can see what we're trying to do. You can see how they're trying to play their football, encourage them to go forward. And they're going to make mistakes and we're going to lose games. So, there's going to be times when we need them more, believe it or not, because, if it's 0-0, we need to keep them banging that drum behind the goal, keep pushing the lads, inspiring them with that atmosphere. Because, it's invaluable. And, there was just over 2,000 there, but it could have been 4 or 5 because the sound they made. So again, it was a brilliant atmosphere. Keep making as much noise and banging that drum harder and louder to inspire the team.
In terms of Sutton, where do you see their threats and what do you make of them so far?
Good side, very good side. Had them watched. They had a 0-0 draw at the weekend. They went to York and drew 2-2, didn't they, on the opening day? So the 3-4-2-1, so they might change. I was surprised Yeovil changed against us at the weekend. People know how we play. They know how our patterns, our movements. We want to attack at every opportunity. So the 3-4-2-1, what Sutton play, the 2-10s are really, really good, as the team are, and they've got a very good manager. So again, it's a home game. It's a home game with a great atmosphere once again. It's a brilliant pitch. I must say, Nick and the ground staff have done unbelievably well. It's a Premier League pitch. So let us go and play our football. It's going to be a tough game. Every game is going to be tough in this league. But if we can play like we are, we'll have an opportunity to win.
Steve Morrison, the manager for Sutton United, someone who's turned a playing career into management as well. Do you know much about him, and how is that transition from playing career then moving into management as well for yourself?
Listen, Steve had a wonderful playing career, and he's doing well with Sutton United. So again, I don't know him personally. So again, it's as a player, when you transition into being a manager, you've just got little insights what players, how you are as a player, and I think you try and transmit that into your team, your the way you play. Listen, I was all in, high intensity, emotional, passionate, and you can see that reflects my team. I'm sure Steve, who was a very, very good centre forward, will have his own philosophy and ethos, how he wants his team to play and how they represent him. And so far, you're looking at the way they're doing, 2 goals at York. Listen, they should have won at the weekend against Solihull. But obviously it was a 0-0, so again, they'll be coming here wanting to win the game.
Injury news, how's the squad shaping up ahead of Wednesday night?
Cards will be in the 19. Great to have him back. It's another brilliant player to come back in. So there'll be 19. Listen, unfortunately, the way football is, there'll be players missing out. And that's the hardest part of being a manager, is telling, players they're not going to be in the 18. That's a difficult thing because, to get in our 18 right now, the way we play, it's difficult. So the lads missing out, when I tell them, that's hard. That is hard, I must admit that. But they've responded really well. I think the squad is a little bit too heavy. We've had offers for a few already. They'll decide, where their future lies. But again, I want to carry 22 players, and unfortunately, in football, players will come, players will go, and it's nothing personal. It's just the way I want to create a team.
In terms of the squad as well, how do you weigh up the dilemma of keeping with the same team on Saturday and also bringing in fresh faces? You've got the squad, I guess, with the very good players.
Well, I'll say it, and I'll reiterate this every time I speak to you, Josh, that 22 players can be successful this year. Whether in our goal of trying to get out of this league, we're going to need every single one of them. We might need a few more, but the youngsters can come into that. The impact the subs made at the weekend, like they did at Solihull, that's in the 4 goals in the league, 3 substitutes have scored. So again, that's the way we utilise the squad. I think it's important you make the subs at the right minute, at the right moments, which we seem to be doing. Me and John done that at our previous club. I think we had the most goals from substitutes, the most assists from substitutes in the whole of the league. We're carrying that on here at the minute. Gilly was fantastic when he came on. I think that's what you're alluding to. And Doidge could have scored a couple. Nick was brilliant. Big Ryan Ennis back and Knowles hitting the post from 50 yards again. So again, those 5 contributed really, really well. They're all pushing for a start, as is Harry Whitwell. So again, when you pick a team, you look at with Tom the stats. Where they're at, how intense they're going to be. And the thing is, when you start a game with 11, you've got the finishers to come on, and they're doing that exceptionally well at the minute, especially in the second game. So what you have to think of is, right, let's look at a plan here. Is it for 55, 60 minutes, and then try and finish the game off with the impact subs. People are pushing. My door will be getting knocked. I know that, but I love that. But yeah, we'll go through it this morning. We'll see. We'll look at Sutton. But again, we can look at Sutton as much as we want, and we will. And we'll show the lads for about 5 minutes because it's about us. But we're not going to change the way we play. And if Sutton, see our team or there's 1 or 2 changes, we're not going to change the way we play for nobody. You can change in game, and that's the beauty. We have a plan A, B, C. As you've seen, we start with the 4-2-3-1, we go to the 4-1-3-2, we can go to a 5-3-2, we can go to a 3-4-3, because that's all come from the recruitment that Mark Bowen has done with Asif and Dale. And that's so important, that you're only as good at times as your recruitment. And we've recruited really, really well. Mark, for me, is one of the best in the game at doing it as a sporting director. Look what he's done at Reading. Look at the calibre of players Reading got and Mark got to Reading, and then have gone on to be sold for large sums of money. You can see what he's done here already, the 40 new players in, how they've all contributed already. So again, the recruitment's key. We've recruited well. And when that team goes out tomorrow, one thing I can assure people is that it will create chances. What's that? Over 50 shots in 2 games, over 85 final third entries, positive ones, 35 corners, attacking football. But there'll be times when we lose games, Josh. There will be playing like that. We just got all stick together, and there'll be times when we'll need everybody to stick together, because we're not going to win every single game of the season. And we're going to lose games. Do I think we can go unbeaten all season? Listen, the way I am as a manager, yes I do. But that won't happen. I thought that at my previous club. And there were 7 games which we didn't win last season in the league. So again, we're off to a good start. It's positive, it's high energy, and we're looking forward to it.